It was a Buddhist society where possibly as much as a quarter of the population were either monks or nuns. There's been an idea of exoticism, of the otherness of Tibet since the first Western explorers got in there in the 17th century, because it seemed to be an inverse of Western secular values. The landscape is completely the opposite. It is untrammeled. There are no hedges, virtually no trees in large parts of it. And the sky at those altitudes takes on a different hue. And one can also see mirages because of the thinness of the air and the sharpness of the light. Creates images, perhaps wishful images of green meadows and lakes, and you get to them and they've moved on another 10 miles.
For Tibetans, disaster struck in 1949. Troops from the People's Republic of China invaded. Their intention was to include its lands within China. They suppressed the Buddhist religion.
When the Chinese invaded in 1949, 1950, there was a pure culture, pure wisdom culture, with a radical experiment, as radical as communism was in its time. It was the radical experiment of Tibet and how it embraced Buddhism and how it intoxicated everything of that culture.
Eventually, the young Dalai Lama fled over the Indian border and set up a government in exile in Dharamsala. He's been there ever since. And this situation galvanized Gere into campaigning for a free Tibet, in order that the Dalai Lama could return from exile in India and restore freedom for Tibetan Buddhists in their homeland.
The situation in Tibet is continually getting worse. As I speak to refugees who escaped from Tibet into India, the stories are more horrific and more horrific every day.
Despite the world's attention, the exiled Tibetans living in Dharamsala in India still have welfare problems, and Richard Gere is no mere figurehead. He set up the Gere Foundation to help with everything from healthcare and education to housing and sanitation. He now campaigns on a variety of humanitarian issues connected to injustice throughout the world. He's particularly concerned about providing funds for women and children affected by HIV and the AIDS virus in India.
I had just about enough money to provide really good quality services for a year and a half. And I was beginning to spend sleepless nights thinking, oh God, now what? Where do I go from here? And there must have been someone up there looking down, because at that juncture is when Richard stepped in and the money came in. It gives me goosebumps to think how it happened. I cannot think of him as anything but a lifesaver at this point, you know.
Really satisfying stuff. The AIDS work we're doing, satisfying stuff. We had a meeting here the other day. We all got chills thinking that we might be able to save 1 million, 2 million, 10, 20 million people by just starting something in motion. I mean, it's astonishing. And how small you feel. You say, what is my life? Is it really that important that I didn't get dinner tonight, or I didn't go to the movie, or I did whatever it is, you know, and how that resonates through all the universes, resonates through time.
Richard Gere is now married for the second time to actress Carey Lowell, and they've produced his first son, Homer, now 3 years old. So it seems Richard Gere has it all. Looks, wealth, a happy family life, and millions of adoring fans.
My basic morality has not changed since I was born. I don't think that is at all. I think the tools available to me and how I interact with people certainly has changed.
You know, spiritual realization is not something that any of us can see in each other. It's something that happens so slowly, and we say that if we expect to make changes in ourselves within a month or two, we will be very disappointed. We should really look back a few years and see if we've made any changes in ourselves.
You know, 10 years ago, I don't think I could have done an interview like this, just be open with you this way. I would have been much more protective. 15 years ago, much more protective.
His practice has re-established priorities in his life and given him a wisdom and a maturity and a sensitivity towards the world and towards life.
I get angry less. I think I have more patience now. I think those are real things. I think that my ability to get out of myself has become stronger through the practice. The energy available to do things that are of benefit to other people has increased enormously. Those are real things.
Next from the Buddhism season, The Life of the Buddha, the story of how it all began 2,500 years ago. That's on BBC Two in just a moment.